Right, we're going to get into part 2 now. Just ask a little favour at the end, if there's anybody not in an awful hurry to leave, if you kind of exit from the front, would like to get a photograph with a few audience members just for a little bit of promotion we're going to do for our Facebook campaign. So, here we go.
Chapter 7. Widowed before I'm wed. Winter has passed and it is now February 1847. Colleen is scared, lonely, and she desperately misses her Sean Oak. She has never felt this vulnerable. Spring is near and she wonders where Sean is. A letter arrives in Killala from Sean Oak with a small amount of money and good news of employment and opportunity. The money is still of little use in the short term, as there is no food to buy. The British Empire has been exporting all of the meat, grain and fish to the so-called mainland, and the Irish have to make do with the wretched pressed Indian corn, which is hardly fit for human consumption. The local landowners are trying to help. A cargo of this Indian meal has been bought and distributed in Killala and then Ballina. But it's not enough to save the starving. During these darkest of times, the same potato crop blight has occurred in Europe, most heavily in Scotland, yet there are relatively few casualties there, as the landowners and government ensure, for their own sakes as much as anything, that there is no mass death. That is not the case in Ireland, where a very different mentality prevails. The damned Irish are going to get what they deserve. Because of their attachment to Catholicism and their Irish ways, they refuse to toe the British line. Every possible effort by local organisations to feed the starving is thwarted and frustrated by a British government intent on teaching the Irish a lesson and forcing prevailing market forces upon them. Charles Edward Trevelyan, a British government agent responsible for famine relief, has openly stated in Parliament that the Irish famine is God's way of punishing the lazy Irish, and it's an instrument to control the overpopulated island. It is on his strict instruction that the viable food from the land be exported in the interests of free market trading. Sean's mother is ill and Colleen's father has died. She is broken-hearted and anxiety runs high. Sean's eldest sister Sarah has disappeared, and the Burkes tell Colleen that she has probably ran away to Dublin. With 20 burials a week taking place in Killala, and the large town graveyard has been filled. Soup kitchens can't cope with the poor, and the Ballina workhouse has been infected by disease, and the stories from within the walls are terrifying this broken community.
A little treat for you all. Deanna's going to come over and join me here and actually sing the next song, so maybe give her a big round of applause because she's very
Sean, I miss you so. Sean, why did you have to go? You left me for good reasons, but I have to tell you now, take too much more of this. Come back, save me somehow. Mother is so ill, I fear her time's about to pass. Like all the time we're suffering, due mainly to our class. The rich men needed plenty, not one of them has died. Yet 20 poor men every week, they die by the roadside. Sean, I miss you so. Sean, why did you have to go? The worst of times has hit us hard. They took my dad away. He had a desperate final month, and just he could not stay. Disease, it took him by the hand and to the gates of hell. No mass, no funeral service, and no ringing of church bells. Sean, I miss you so. Sean, why did you have to go? There's no room left in the graveyard, too many gone before. We bury them in our fields now, and I know of many more who lie tonight on their deathbeds, awaiting that last breath. This hunger, it takes everything until there's nothing left. Sean, I miss you so. Sean, why did you have to go? You left me for good reasons, but I have to tell you now, I can't take too much more of this. Come back, save me somehow. Sean, I miss you so. Sean, why did you have to go?
Sorry, get the mic there. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to reply to that song with a bit of an improv now. This will all be off the top of my head. You can hit that video there, Tony. I had to go away, my darling, oh. Well, I wanted her to stay forevermore. I know I made it safely across the sea, but that means nothing while you're away from me. I had to go, and I miss you so. I had to leave you all alone. I just can't sleep alone at night. My heart is broken too. I see your face, I hear your voice in everything I do, and I know someday you'll be with me. We will get married too, have babies and be happy. Have food for me and you. I imagine that you're lonely too, I think it has to be. While I'm 3,000 miles away across the Atlantic Sea, your lonely walk, your sad face, I see it in mind's eye. It will draw me, my darling girl, to work for our survive. Oh, my life is full of much regret, but none of it is you. The only one who said to me, you know that I love you. I'm working here within New York. What keeps me going now is the thoughts of getting back to you. I know what I must do. Oh, you keep me going in the night. I think it's gonna be relentless and so passionate. You know I want to see your darling beauty in my eyes, where I can touch. I never said it often enough. I love you, girl, so much. Now I'm going to interject again. There's a 40-second pause here to allow me just to say something. In terms of the acts that are coming now for the next couple of minutes after this next song, we're going to have my daughter Caitley up to sing a song of loss. In our own family's case, it's a very poignant one this year because we actually we lost my father-in-law, my wife's father, back in March, and the night that he passed away was the night that I wrote that particular song. So hopefully you'll bear him in your thoughts as we go through that one. And then our camera lady is going to come up and give a little performance too. So we'll get back to the show now. And, thank you.
Chapter 8, Reality Bites. It's June 1847 and reality sets in for Sean. New York is no longer a friendly place to Irish immigrants. Prejudice and racism is rife, and Sean is now struggling to get work after such a positive start here. Too many Irish refugees continue to pour into New York, straining resources and accommodation. Sean realises that the idea of bringing his family over this year is little more than a dream, and he is now wondering if New York is a good place for his sisters and his future wife to be. His wages are falling as cheaper labour becomes available. Trouble breaks out on a daily basis, and the settled Irish, from an influx of immigrants 30 years previous, are now a bigger threat to new arrivals than the British ever were at home. These earlier arrived Irish folk are known as the natives. A campaign to run these new Irish arrivals out of New York is in full swing. Religious persecution, racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination are rife. The New York Police Department is only 2 years into its own existence, and though it makes up heavily with Irish presence, the cops do little or nothing to protect those without means. Corruption blackens policing, social affairs, and political life in New York City. Signs are posted on rest house doors, and notes are inserted in newspaper job advertisements stating NINA, no Irish need apply. Cartoons appear showing the Irish to be dangerous, unwashed and lazy. Dogs get better treatment. Sure, you can train a dog if you put the time into it. Sean has to get the hell out of here, and fast.
Important to say that it wasn't just New York. Many of our kinsmen got that same treatment in London in the 1960s. So this song is called Nina, No Irish Need Apply. Now I'm going to apologise because I've just broken the string. I had an awful feeling that was going to happen. I have a spare guitar here behind me. Can you just knock off the power there for 1 second, Tony? This stuff never happens on Broadway now, I know that, so be sympathetic to me. Just 1 second now. I actually changed all those strings today as well, so that should not have happened, but there you go. Maybe there's somebody, some Nina man that... he doesn't like me singing this song, I don't know. Anyway, it's always important to stay cool in these situations and kind of take it light, you know. There's no pressure here, it's not live TV or anything. Too loud.
That I have just survived was as hard a thing a man could have done without dying. I'm a battered pilgrim with my heart upon my sleeve, but they say turn back, you dirty dog, you can't come in with me. Need apply, it says there is no room for you. You filthy, dirty animals, they treat pigs better too. No Irish wanted here, young man. You filled this place like rats. You breed unwashed from hungry lands and stay, and that's a fact. Now I never struck a man before or laid one in the ground, but fight I had just to defend my Celtic kinsman proud. A native came and he struck my face for looking at his wife. I swear to God, red mist came down, I almost took his life. No Irish need apply, it says there is no room for you. You filthy, dirty animals will treat pigs better too. No Irish wanted here, young man. You filled this place like rats. You breed unwashed from hungry lands, can't stay, and that's a fact. The strangest thing of all to me is that they came here too, on wooden boats across the sea to make a pound or two. They came like me to make a life, just trying to survive. How quick the mind makes men forget about their owners' times. No Irish wanted here, young man. You filled this place like rats. You filthy, dirty animals can stay, and that's a fact. No Irish wanted here, young man. there is no room for you. You great unwashed from hungry lands can get out of here too. So do I stay or do I go? To stay might lead to war. As gangs round up our weakest ones, they mug, they beat and tear. To say that we're not fit to have a room, a job, a bed, and tell us we're animals, we're worth more to them dead. No Irish wanted, hey young man, you fill this place like rats. You filthy, dirty animals can stay now, that's the facts. No Irish need apply, it says there is no room for you. You great unwashed from hungry lands can turn and get out too. Says there is no room for you. You filthy, dirty animals who treat pigs better too. No Irish wanted, hey young man, you fill this place like rats. You great unwashed from hungry lands can stay, and that's the fact.
We're just going to leave this screen on for a second, just to think, I suppose, about the irony. When we do hear the stories read back to us, I suppose it's always the English hurt the Irish, or the Americans didn't want the Irish, or whoever it was. But in that case, and it was a very real case, it was actually the Irish didn't want the Irish, the natives being the guys that came from the 1810s, 1820s, and really they'd established their turf, and then the new guys were coming in. So again, I suppose there's a bit of self-criticism there, and we deserve it. Anyway, back to the show. You can hit there again, Tony, please. Thank you.
Chapter 9, Mother's End. December 1847 arrives, and Sean receives Colleen's letter. His mother has died, and now his two young sisters have been taken in by the Belmullet workhouse. They are at the mercy of God and the workhouse managers. No one knows where Sarah has ended up. News of his mother's passing has rattled Sean to the core. The sense and feeling of loss is far greater than anything he has ever experienced up until now. Sean is angry, and rightly so. He knows that her death was a result of human decisions and not natural disasters. He has saved some money and sent it home, but it won't be enough to get his sisters out of their newfound bondage immediately. Colleen is barely surviving, but she has been favoured by the Honourable Mr. Burke after her own father's death, and she has been given employment in the big house, replacing Sarah, who has not returned. However, she can't do anything to prevent the demise of young Roseanne and Mary. She is full of fear and loathing. How could this happen? Ireland is now resembling a hell on earth. Everyone has lost someone, and the blight has continued for yet another season. The small quantity of seed potatoes that were brought in from a storehouse in northern England earlier in the year have also failed. And coming up to Christmas 47, there appears to be no hope. Crime is also on the rise, as desperate men do desperate things in a bid for survival. Many are shipped to Australia as convicts, those same men being the lucky ones, who now at least have a chance to survive. Evictions are commonplace as demonic landlords attempt to clear their lands. In some cases, the more generous landlords pay for families to cross the ocean. The generosity is motivated by simple economics, as it is less expensive to ship people out than it is to cover the cost of feeding each mouth in a poorhouse. No one is sending the Gaughan family anywhere though.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Caitley Winter-Sparrow to the stage. Thank you.
The world we live in is ruled by nature's clock. For seasons they all come and go to help us all take stock. The buds they call in springtime, in summertime the heat, and the lovely autumn turns to brown with golden shards of wheat. The winter time should be a place where nothing pretty grows, but the year we lost you, my dear friend, I found you in the snow. A single flower, so small and pert, it stood up red and proud, and I knew you put it there to grow, a flower in the snow. You gave me hope by doing this, that sign you left for me, in such a canvas white and pure, the clearest thing to see. Your message I got loud and clear, and never will forget, to live my life with hopes ahead. We'll meet with no regrets. The winter time should be a place where nothing pretty grows, but the year we lost you, my dear friend, I found you in the snow. A single flower, so small and pert, it stood up red and proud, and I knew you put it there to grow, a flower in the snow. And I knew you put me here to grow, a flower in the snow.
Some songs are harder than others, I suppose. So well done, Caitley, for the lady with the story that went behind it. I'm very proud of you. Well done. I like awkward silences too. I think they're the best medicine. I told you where the story for that song came from. I know I'm probably talking way too much here tonight, but really the inspiration of winter becoming spring and spring becoming summer and life following death and death following life. I think that song really sums it up. Back to you, Dan.
Chapter 10, Hope. It is now February 1848, and things go from bad to worse at home. The local population has been reduced by well over 20%, and those who remain are now quite literally on their knees. America, though, has improved for Sean, as he escapes New York and gets work near the town of Scranton, in northeast Pennsylvania, as a railroad labourer. He makes better money and can start again to plan his sister's rescue from the workhouse and the protection of his sweet Colleen. Towns like Scranton and emerging cities such as Pittsburgh, Baltimore and Cleveland offer new hope and better opportunities for the fighting Irish. With the main population centres almost saturated along the northeast coast, massive population shifts and migrations occur. Many drive further west into the Great Plains of America. Communities spring up along every lake and river across the country, and the established towns of the South grow rapidly into mixed cultures, languages and traditions. The Wild West comes into being, and Irish farmers become American cowboys. The American Civil War is still 13 years away, and the 28 states of America are all making good progress. A gold rush is rumoured in a place called California, as far away from Sean as Ireland is. 28 states become 30 as Wisconsin is admitted to the USA, and a war in the South between Mexico and America has ended, ceding Texas to the United States. Military opportunities exist, and many Irishmen swap a pick and shovel for a rifle and uniform. The new Irish are starting to fight back and to win.
It's quite a photograph. The reason I chose that one for the backing, really, it's white slaves and black slaves. They did some work, didn't they?
This nation great, we need a network, a combination of so many lines, connecting all the cities and their people. That's why we're working on the railroad lines. We work along the lines from early morning. We swing our picks, we grapple with our poles. The pressure from the boss is to finish on time. Around that town, the Scranton, yeah, we work the railroad lines. across the Appalachians. We chopped, we sawed, we dug and raked and mined. We spilled some blood and lost some of our brothers, but it's better than New York, yeah, anytime. We built their tracks to draw away their coal. No fear from city gangs or of the natives. We'd swing and dig our way out of this hole. At Neary from Mayo, he was my foreman. Like me, he had survived that New York hell. He told me if I stuck with him, I'd prosper, and soon I'd see my Colleen love again. It's nice for me to work now in the country. I spend my nights by campfires under stars. As soon as I get myself enough money, I'll return home and try to mend all the scars. We work along the lines from early morning. We swing our picks and grapple with our bows. The pressure from the boss is to finish on time. Around that town, the Scarrants, and yeah, we work the railroad lines. You can let it off there, Toby. To make this nation great, we need a network. A combination of so many lines, connecting all the cities and their people. That's why we're working on the railroad lines. That's why we're working on the railroad lines. Oh, thank God we're working on the railroad line.
Chapter 11, Escape. 6 months drag by, and in August, Sean goes to Philadelphia. Feeling lonely, tired, and full of anxiety, he finds himself standing at the docks. He looks out at the ocean and realizes he would rather be at home and dead than to be alive in America for one more day without Colleen. The loneliness is a terrible thing. The fear and worry is just as bad, and the call of home is deafening. To feel so lonely, in a place that is full of people is just hell to suffer. Sean spends the evening in a dockside lounge and drinks whiskey and bourbon to drive out the demons. In a moment of drunken faith and with some trust in his God, he drops everything but his money and his clothes and makes his way for a boat that is destined for Ireland. He fears the journey, but finds that it is not as bad as his original crossing. A few self-made men are making the journey home, and conditions are much better this time, with food, water, and comfortable, spacious lodgings. He lands in Galway in early November 1848, and he makes his way towards home. As he travels north, he sees the dead and the dying, corpses littered in the landscape, crows and magpies picking at the remains, and a horrific stench that fills the air. Cartmen and some uniformed people of office are gathering the stricken as they find them, but they are overwhelmed by the volumes of dead and dying. Sean Og rushes to Killala with great haste. Passing through Tuam, Hollymount and Castlebar, he cannot believe how bad things have become at home. The journey around Navan and into Crossmolina is horrendous, with death lying behind every door. And then finally, Killala, and he is home. He cannot believe what he finds. The road into Killala via Garden Hill is deserted, and the small graveyard on his left-hand side, about a mile from the town, looks completely full. The town itself is near empty, with no commerce, no people, no sound and no voice. He has not seen a single cow, goat or sheep during the final 30 miles of his journey. No cock crows and the silence is palpable. The smell is real and it smells like death, a smell he knows so well. After a brief search by the shore, Sean finds Colleen up at the churchyard. The gates are locked to keep her out. The people have been deserted by the church, the local government, the military and the well-to-do. The great Mr. Burke has passed away and the people are very much on their own. The couple embrace, and for one brief moment, Sean is as happy as he ever could be. The touch of Colleen's hand on Sean's face is a healing one, but her eyes are dark and her grief is visible. It's as if there are worse things in life than actually dying. The dead are at peace, but the living are stuck in a permanent hell. Colleen tells Sean that his two young sisters have been shipped out from the workhouse. They are bound for Australia with a group of orphan girls, but at least they are alive.
In my imagination, in the still dead dark of night, I could see a calling girl. Yes, I could see you. You spoke to me, you touched me, and your light had shone so bright. In my imagination, I could feel you. And distance didn't matter. You're a million miles away. I always knew, I promised, I'd be back to you someday. And looking all around me, my town's in rags and tears. Just take me home, Colleen, and say you love me. Some nights out by the campfires, I'm looking up above. I pick out Colleen, girl, one star that was you. I wonder if you felt me there, watching from above. In my imagination, I could feel you. And distance didn't matter, you're a million miles away. I always knew, I promised, I'd be back for you someday. Now looking all around me, my town's in rags and tears. Just take me home, Colleen, say you love me. And looking all around me, my town's in rags and tears. Just take me home, Colleen, and say you love me.
Now, we don't have a narration for this piece, but I'll talk you through it while little Aoife gets on stage here beside me. The story of the orphan girls in Ballina, another poignant, disastrous outcome from what was the episodes of the 1840s. In the Ballina workhouse, there was a large number of young girls. And when I say a large number, well, you can see it here now, they were outnumbering the male population. And one of the solutions to populate the Australian Empire of the British Crown and also to take hungry mouths out of the workhouse was to gather up these teenage girls and basically put them on a boat and send them to Australia. They were sent there as basically a breeding herd, which is absolutely disgusting, but that's the truth of what happened, I'm afraid. So from the town of Ballina, I'm not sure what the numbers were, can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a large number, 600 from Connacht, I think, and maybe 100 of them were from Ballina. All out of the Ballina workhouse. They ended up together sailing off to Botany Bay and to end up eventually in what we now would have known as Australia, but to them it was Van Diemen's Land. This song that Aoife is going to sing is basically a reflection of that, sung in the first person by one of the orphan girls from Ballina. We're going to get started, but you'll see the words of the song appearing on the back of the screen now also as we get through it. So if you want to sing along, please do. And let's have a big round of applause for Aoife Farrell. This is actually the best song in the whole show. So. Said Daddy. All right.
To go, we're sending you off to Australia. Gather your things, don't make it show. Where is this place where we are going? We've never sailed on ships before. We're really scared and feeling lonely, but we're not going there alone. They told me all about the new world. It's very warm and very strange. They say could warm a furnace. Us male girls are out of place. Where is this place where we are going? We've never sailed on ships before. We're really scared and feeling lonely, but we're not going there alone. I heard they have some strange new creatures. They have a thing called kangaroo. They have small bears that climb the jungles. But all I think about is you. Where is this place where we are going? We've never sailed on ships before. We're really scared and feeling lonely, but we're not going there alone. Our mommy died and left us sudden. She did her best to wait for you. I hope you find us, my big brother. Just know I'll always wait, that's true. Where is this place where we are going? We've never sailed on ships before. We're really scared and feeling lonely, but we're not going there alone. It is a little bit exciting to go so very far away. I wish my mommy Sarah Colleen had made this trip started again. Where is this place where we are going? We've never sailed on ships before. We're really scared and feeling lonely, but we're not going there alone. Where is this place where we are going? We've never sailed on ships before. We're really scared and feeling lonely, but we're not going there alone. Where is this place where we are going? We've never sailed on ships before. We're really scared and feeling lonely, but we're not going there alone.
I just have to compose myself because I do get a bit emotional when I see the talent their mammy gave to the girls. Hello, Anne-Marie, by the way. Is my microphone on there? Yeah. How are you doing? Yes, so well done, Aoife, that was brilliant. Aoife's going to come up and take a few photographs now behind us and all that kind of stuff, so don't mind her in the background. We're almost there now. That is the second last song of the night. We're going to get into chapter 12 now and the grand finale, as it were. Yeah, I'd just like to once again thank everybody for your kind attention, and hopefully if you enjoyed anything around the show, any parts of it, you'll tell your friends. A few of the songs that we've got there are Here Comes the Salesman now. They're up there on iTunes and Spotify, Amazon Music, all those kind of forums. But I like to let my friends in for free. So if you go to YouTube and look up Brendan J. Farrell, all the videos from tonight's show, amongst other ones, they're all there. They're free to air, and you know, you can take them and you can download them, or you can listen to them wherever you want. I'd really like to thank Idana, because Idana here was and is before every performance a little bag of nerves. You know, she doesn't realise how good she is. I know that you know, praise from afar can be a big thing, but I'm standing here right beside you, I'm looking you eye to eye. I thought you did brilliant tonight, so well done. I should also give thanks for Tony up there on the desk. He's done a tremendous job. For Sean for inviting me down to do this, along with Rosaline from the Belmullet Festival. I think that Belmullet is one of the best little towns in the country. You should be very proud of yourselves to come from here. You know? I've been involved in many's a festival. I used to be part of the Ballina Salmon Festival Committee, the organising group and all that. And a big town like Ballina, we're struggling to get a 5-day festival together, and you guys have done it for like 2 weeks, which I just think is phenomenal. And the best thing about it is, living in Clalla, I see the cars going by my house or on the Clalla Road all the time. All the English cars and the Northern Reg cars coming back, and on the 15th of August you know exactly where they're heading for. It's great to see people coming home. So to the English ladies that are in the audience tonight that accidentally stumbled on me earlier on and came back for a closer look, I'm talking about you guys in particular, but when you come back next year, maybe bring 20 other people with you, yeah, with lots of money, and maybe we'll put this show on again. Last thing for me to say, really and truly, is that I said at the beginning, the size of the audience is irrelevant. It's the attention of the audience that I look for. And that's why I'm sneaky wearing this little cap. I can have a look up and I can be looking at you without you knowing. I really appreciate the way that you actually engage with the show tonight. So, Gur Mai Higgith, Gur Mila Mai Higgith, I was slán on you. Okay.